All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Daytona International Speedway as we get ready for duel number 2 to set the outside row for the Daytona 500 here on Mock Season Central in the NASCAR Mock Season. Carlos Zimmerman back here with you once again. Hope you're ready for duel number 2, exciting duel number 1 that came right down to the wire. Brad Keselowski was the one that came out on top. For RFK, to claim duel number 1 as they continue a fantastic Speedweeks. The entire group of RFK was in duel 1, so we'll have a different winner, if you will, that isn't under the RFK stables, and it could be the vast majority of the cars you see in the left side of your screen. Carson Hocevar finished second in pole day qualifying. He'll be on the outside row of the Daytona 500 of row number 1 alongside of Chandler Smith. He'll have Ty Gibbs to his outside for the start of this one. And again, much like in Duel 1, we have 4 go-or-go-homers with 2 spots remaining in the Great American Race. J.J. Yaley, Justin Allgaier, B.J. McLeod, and Corey Heim will be the 4 fighting for a transfer spot into the Daytona 500. A lot of this race will have a couple of teammates working together more than likely, but there are some guys that are going to be on their own, the likes of the 12 of Ryan Blaney, who will roll off 10th on the grid here today. Both of his teammates went in duel number 1, so he's really on his own in this race. He'll have a by proxy teammate in Josh Berry with him, as Wood Brothers gets a lot of their equipment from Penske, so he'll have him to work with regardless of that. But everyone else pretty much have a teammate in this field if they have multi-card teams. So without further ado, let's get the timer rolling and take you inside the grid here at Daytona as we get ready for duel number 2. 2 spots remain in the race to get into the 500. And more importantly, once again for these cars and drivers and teams, keep the car clean. Don't have to go to a backup if you can avoid it, if you are indeed any of these drivers trying to get into the Daytona 500 and get in a good starting spot as well. Here's the command to fire them up for duel number 2 here in Daytona.
Drivers, start your engines.
There is the command to get these cars off and rolling. Carson Hocevar and Ty Gibbs will be the 2 that will lead the field out there onto the racetrack. Couple of Monster Energy cars right there in the first 2 rows. Riley Herbst had a decent day at pole day qualifying. He will roll off 4th. But how about J.J. Yaley being able to come out 3rd as one of the go-or-go homers in this race here today? But as we learned in duel number 1, it is not really about where you start, it is where you finish. Chandler Smith was on the pole for the duel race. He ended up finishing back mired behind 15th in that duel of 23 cars. So, but regardless of that, he kept the car clean. He'll be on the pole for the 500. Carson Hocevar going to try and do much of the same, as he will be the one to roll off on his outside if he can keep that race car clean. And big question, who is going to be somebody that is able to come out on top in this event? RFK has dominated Speedweeks with Chris Buescher winning the Clash, and then Brad Keselowski earlier this afternoon taking duel number 1. Don't have to worry about them stealing another one here until we get to the 500, but a great weekend it has been regardless for RFK, Levi McIntyre, and Tim Fiegel. But somebody else wants to etch their name into the win column here. Could it be this Mr. Hocevar on the front row for Spire Motorsports? James Qualls and Rafael Leduc would love to see that. There is some Trackhouse power in this race too. Jack Mitchell and Seth Cole leading Trackhouse. They're 4th and 5th on that inside line. Ross Chastain and SVG would love to get into the picture, but front row is also very well represented here for Ali Liara and Stephen Pollard III. They already know they will have somebody on the front row for the 500. Could Noah Gragson and Zane Smith work their way up there, as well as they're in this field of 22 cars ready to go for duel number 2, the final tune-up, if you will, for the 500 here on NASCAR Mock Season on the Mock Season Central Network. Carson Hocevar and Ty Gibbs will bring them down for the green flag in duel number 2 here in Daytona. We head down the backstretch here, completing lap 1 of 40. Again, pit stop's going to definitely be a factor in this race. As we saw in duel number 1, one of our go-or-go homers slides up to the way outside. That's Justin Allgaier for Junior Motorsports. Their lone entry into the races this season in 2026, as it'll be Hocevar leading the opening lap. They're 3 by 3 all the way through the rest of the field. Much like we saw in duel number 1, not Chandler Smith getting out to way out there in front. It was Bubba Wallace during the early going that was able to build a huge lead on the pack, and Hocevar doing that right here. Zane Smith in that second spot for Front Row Motorsports. He's got his teammate there on the inside line. That's Noah Gregson. He'll try to suck up the hill with the 38 clear in the second place. But unlike Smith in the first duel, Carson Hocevar is going to lead the first 2 laps. After Smith lost the lead in duel 1, he never got it back. Here comes SVG to the inside line. Doesn't have much help there on the inside. He's got his teammate bearing down on the 38. Gets a good run. And Trackhouse will find themselves the first 2 cars on that inside line, trying to get by Zane Smith. Chastain thinking about going to the inside of his teammate in the 97. He'll stay right back to that back bumper. With the 45 of Tyler Reddick joining this group, it is single file amongst the top 5. As Hocevar continues to lead, here comes the 97 and the 1 to the inside. They will go 3 wide to the lead here as we work on lap number 4 of the 40 scheduled. Trackhouse teammates going for the lead to push Hocevar out and way up to the high side. And the 1, will he keep it there on the inside or let his teammate down? Nope, he's going to keep fighting for the lead with his teammate in SVG. As we complete lap 4, here come that Ford tandem we talked about potentially working together. Josh Berry and Ryan Blaney. They're on that inside line. Is Blaney, Berry in the middle. As that time, Shane Van Gisbergen was the leader at the stripe. Chastain, his teammate, still on the inside as we take you to the helicopter view and get a good view of this group. SVG on the extreme high side as Ryan Blaney starts to creep into the picture and has taken the lead. The lone Penske car here in Duel 2. Denny Hamlin will peek to the inside of the 12. Blaney slams the door on the inside as we complete lap 5 of 40. See the tail end of the pack here. Corey Heim and Justin Allgaier trying to maintain pace. Heim he's starting to lose the draft. We saw in Duel 1 what happened to Jimmy Johnson when he lost the draft, ultimately went out of the race with engine issues, but the 67 starting to lose the group here with a couple of the go-or-go homers right there in his face. The 78 of B.J. McLeod and the 40 of Allgaier. Right now it would be McLeod in, Allgaier and Heim out. Of course, the 67 running a part-time schedule this year for 2311. Trying to find where our other go-or-go homer is. It's not Cody Ware. He's locked into the 500. Bialy, but he is up in this gaggle of cars as, meanwhile, at the front, lead continues to change hands. Denny Hamlin now in the lead spot. Here comes Chase Elliott to the inside. We get ready to complete lap 7 here. We're closing in on that window opening for pit stops at around lap 16 to 17 is when we ought to start seeing cars duck down into the pits as they continue to race on here. 2, 3 wide. Here in duel number 2. Chase Elliott has now grabbed the race lead, or is at least trying to get it from Denny Hamlin, as Ross Chastain will stick it in 3 wide. Hear them roar coming off the corner. Three by three, that time at the line, give it to Chastain. So the Hendrick cars running there in the middle, 1, 2, the 9 and 48. Trying to help each other out as they head down the backstretch. Get a view from the grandstands from our perspective. These guys just continue to race hard as we near that window for pit stops opening up. At the line this time by as they come by the grandstands, dead even pretty much. The 9 of Chase Elliott was the leader that time by. Oop, wrong camera angle. We're a quarter of the way done in this one. Ross Chastain trying to take the lead away. Josh Berry coming on that inside line from the Wood brothers. Myself and Keith Batson running the 21 camp this year. How about Ty Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fighting hard on that inside? Emmanuel Hartnett running Hayek Motorsports on his own. Ty Dillon with colleague. Carson Gum and Jovan Anderson piloting that camp. Wouldn't they love to have a good starting spot in the 500? Elliott once again the leader at the line this time as we completed a quarter of duel number 2. Duel number 1 went caution-free. Didn't go without drama with the very end. Kyle Larson making a nice move to the inside of Brad Keselowski. Keselowski just holding him off by 9 1/1000ths of a second. Gotta wonder when that window for pit stops is going to start opening up. So we're closing in on that. Chastain and Elliott continue to be side by side for the lead. Elliott's won the last 2 laps. He has now won a 3rd lap. Elliott. He's had the benefit of his teammate pushing him, but now the 9 gets run way up to the high side by the 48. Now Chastain can be clear into the lead. But maybe not for long. Elliott getting a good run down the back straightaway with help from the 11. You look at our battle for the go-or-go-homer spots. They are all back there towards the middle to back of the pack. Haley, Allgaier, McLeod, and Heim. Heim and McLeod would be the 2 out for the moment. Haley and Allgaier on that top side. As we nearly got 4 wide there. The 11 got ran high by the 12. It was the 1 of Ross Chastain led that time by, but my goodness, Chase Elliott will not go away on that top side. That 9 for Hendrick has got a lot of speed. Here comes SVG down to the inside with help from Zane Smith as he tries to push his way up to 2nd, and now Chastain is clearly into the lead. Three by 3 behind him for Chastain. Will now have his teammate on that inside line once again. Trackhouse showing a lot of power here in Duel 2. Oh, they are going to get a bit 4 wide right there. Cody Ware, Eric Jones, and Ricky Stenhouse, they're rubbing doors down the backstretch. Contact, and the 47 gets hooked by the 43. Or the 51, rather, gets hooked by the 43. And where is Cody? Oh, goodness, what are you doing? Big crash! caution will wave here in Daytona as Cody Ware comes back up in front of traffic and collects a good chunk of the field. Justin Allgaier, one of our go-homers, gets caught up in the mess. The 35 of Riley Herbst also was collected. Cole Custer, another one as well. And Ty Gibbs, our outside pole sitter, he'll bring it in and call it a day. Wow. So we've had our first caution of this weekend due to an accident, or second one if you count the clash. We had one that was because of a wreck, but we're going to have a lot to check out on this one as the 51 of Cody Ware gets hooked by the 43 of Eric Jones, and then Ware trying to slow down. The grass doesn't have much give, and ultimately has taken out a good chunk of this field as we will go back and take a look at what has brought us under the yellow here in duel number 1. Welcome back here in Daytona under the yellow for the first time here between the duels, as it all started coming out of turn number 2. You see 4 wide here. It gets real dicey. The 43 on the way bottom. Cody Ware in a tough spot with Ricky Stenhouse, and then J.J. Yaley all the way up at the top. 51 and the 47 make contact, and then the 43 just runs out of room, and instead of backing down, the 43 hooks the 51, and I was curious, did the 51 ever get the inside wall? It doesn't look like he did, but bring it up to full speed here. He is still going incredibly fast down here and just shows then starts slowing down, but the grass here on this configuration just has no give, and he comes back up into traffic, right into the 54. The 40 gets a piece, and Justin Allgaier, the 41, they spin down here in front of a couple of go-homers, and it looks like the 67 and the 78 avoided it. But my goodness. Take a look at it here as Cody Ware comes back into traffic. Takes out both Monster Energy cars, both Toyotas. This angle doesn't, that one ain't going to give it a good look either, but 41 gets caught up in it. As the 54 comes down, just nowhere to go really for Cole Custer and the Haas factory team. That is what has brought us under the yellow here in duel number 2. Cody Ware, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, Ty Gibbs, and Justin Allgaier all collected here in our first caution of the duels. We'll step aside and get you back to live action here in a moment. Welcome back here to Daytona. A couple of developments that have happened while we were going back to take a look at what brought out our first caution. The Cody Ware incident coming back up onto the racetrack, collecting a bevy of cars. 3 cars out of the race because of the wreck. Riley Herbst, Cody Ware, and Ty Gibbs. But also, our leader at the time of caution, Ross Chastain, had a piston failure on his number 1 machine, so he's had to take his car behind the wall. And so Chastain, who showed a lot of speed here in the opening laps, is now out of this dual race. And all four of those cars locked into the 500. They'll have to go to a backup and will be at the rear of the field in the 500. So major development right there as one of the fastest cars in this race. Chastain out with a piston failure, and then Ty Gibbs, Cody Ware, Riley Herbst out due to that lap 14 incident in turns 3 and 4. Really, that started all the way back at the top part of the backstretch. So you got to think Rick Ware Racing's Nathan Ormond and Charles Belding might see some issues there with the way Ware came back up in front of traffic, causing that incident. We'll see if there's any developments that come from that. So the race off of pit lane as we are now 1 to green near the halfway point. Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, the two Hendrick cars, they run 1 and 2. Reddick third, our pole sitter Hocevar is fourth. Blaney runs fifth. Danny Hamlin sixth. Ricky Stenhouse, who nearly got caught up in that incident, he is seventh. Zane Smith eighth. His teammate Noah Gragson ninth. And SVG now the lone Trackhouse car in the field. In this duel, he is 10th. Barry Wallows in 11th. Ty Dillon 12th. Corey Heim, who just avoided that incident and is still in the fight, he is 13th. BJ McLeod 14th. Eric Jones 15th. JJ Yaley 16th. Cole Custer 17th. And then no back deck lid for Justin Allgaier. He is 18th. And with the damage he incurred in that incident, that might cost him a spot in the 500. So you got to think Yaley, McLeod, and Heim are chomping at the bit at this point to be the ones that can try and race their way in to the field of 41. So when we come back around, we'll have completed 18 of the 40 scheduled laps. And that opens the door once again for interesting pit strategy if we are to go green all the way to the finish. So they'll now line up double file for the restart. It'll be the two Hendrick cars right here at the front. No one off the lead lap. And again, those four right there, as you see on your screen, out of the race, and we'll go to backups. And we'll start at the tail end of the field for the 500. Pace cars in, and let's get back to racing here in duel number 2. Bowman and Elliott, the two Hendrick cars, will lead them back to the green. Alex Bowman clears up top. Tyler Reddick will come to the bottom here as we approach halfway here in the duel. And you look further back, Cole Custer doesn't have a ton of speed right now with the damage he incurred, and obviously Allgaier is going to be well off the pace as well, so you might be able to just write the book on Allgaier being able to make it to the 500, barring that none of the other go-homers, knock on wood, end up crashing out of the race. Right now, Corey Heim, he's in a great spot. BJ McLeod, though, is one car behind him. JJ Yaley trying to get around the slower 41 and get back into the mix to compete for a spot in the 500. In the meantime, at the front, 48 maintaining serve on the top line. Hamlin gets shuffled out, and he'll drop further back on that third groove. The line, Bowman is the leader. You see that buckle on the 41's hood. They're hoping that he can finish this race so that they can just get that car repaired for the 500 and not have to go to a backup. But regardless, with where he's running right now, he will start further back in the field. As they come down the back stretch, man, the 12 nearly banging doors there with the 45 as they head down in the 3. Oh, Savar sticks it to the inside and runs Elliott way high. Osavar, the lone Spire car in this field, with Suarez and McDowell running in Duel 1. Yeah, that 40's well off the pace, losing 5 seconds in one lap, so he could be a lap car problem before long, but still a little ways from that as we got 18 laps to go. Bowman still leading the way. Blaney, not a lot of help on that inside line. The lone Penske entrant here in the field. Savar Gregson, and now Gregson will have help from his teammate and Zane Smith on that inside. So as they complete lap 22 of 40, we will bow out and let you enjoy the sights and sounds of Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. And when we come back, we will bring you the finish as you're watching the NASCAR Mock season on MSC. to go here in Duel number 2 here in Daytona. Carlos Zimmerman with you on MSC in the NASCAR Mock season as we continue to battle for who will be running on the outside row for the Daytona 500. If you're just tuning in, 4 cars out of the race. Ross Chastain under our last caution had an engine issue, mostly with the piston. He's out. Ty Gibbs, Cody Ware, and Riley Herbst all taken out in that lap 14 caution. And that is what has brought us to here. So we close in on 10 to go. Corey Heim ducks into the pits, and the pit window looks like it is now open. But Corey Heim, one of our go-or-go-homers, the only one to drop into the pits is this idea for the 67. So they're beating and banging through 1 and 2 here. Really close quarter racing down into the backstretch as they start to run up on the 40 of Justin Allgaier. Ryan Blaney has cleared into the lead, but will there be any more takers into the pits this time by? Oh boy, Hocevar and Smith, they are really close to each other down as they come here to the pits. Here we go, good gaggle of cars coming in. Blaney, Reddick, Hamlin, Gregson, Jones, Berry, and Yaley down in the pit for the final time. So it looks like Elliott, SVG, Bowman, Smith, Hocevar, Stenhouse, McLeod, and Dillon are the ones we're going to be waiting on to come down into pit lane. Van Gisbergen dives to the inside here on Chase. Trying to take the race lead away. How much longer are these guys going to go? Not long as Elliott stays out. His teammate Bowman comes in, and I think everybody except the 9 has brought it down. So the 97, the 48, the 38 are in. Hocevar, Stenhouse, McLeod, and Dillon have pitted. They are going to be in the pits as the 9 is the only one that is yet to come down pit lane. So again, very interesting strategy out of the Hendrick camp. Not going down with his teammate as he runs up here on the 4 of Gregson. He'll have to hit the brakes a little bit. See if this time by he will bring it down. He more than likely will. Here he is. He's on the brakes and coming in. So we will keep it here with the Napa Chevrolet of Chase Elliott. So he comes down for his service. He'll cross the line and make it 9 laps to go, and then I'll be curious who is going to cycle out as the leader. Elliott brings it in. He's going to go just left sides here for the 9. And some fuel, no doubt, and that's it. So a 2-tire stop for the Chase Elliott machine. And he will bring it back out onto the racetrack. Try and get that car back up to speed. And since he's by himself, it's going to take a lot more. He'll merge back out onto the racetrack. Here comes the pack, led by the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen. This is your lead pack right here. Alex Bowman on the inside. Tyler Reddick is there too, as they'll run up here on the 9 of Chase Elliott. And then that second pack's going to be coming in a hurry before long as well. Down into turns 3 and 4. 3 wide for that second groove. Bowman now slides into second. They will assume the 9 car of Chase Elliott, who's almost back to full speed. His teammates come in. Elliott slams the door on the 48 and then gets back up to cover the top. With their speed, they'll be able to get that 9 fully back up into drafting speed, and he already is. So a 6-car pack here with just almost 7 laps to go. A second pack of cars led by Hocevar, Zane Smith, Ricky Stenhouse, Corey Heim, one of our go-or-go homers. He feels like he's in a good spot to get into the 500. Josh Berry and Eric Jones are this group. Ty Dillon a little further behind them, just trying to catch a sniff of their draft. Meanwhile, the 78 of B.J. McLeod sits in 14th, 5.5 seconds ahead of J.J. Yaley. And with Allgaier down off the lead lap, McLeod feels like he might be in a great spot to qualify for the 500. There you see the 44 started third on the grid today, much like Casey Mears, who started on the outside pole in Duel 1, but then just did not have it go his way during the pit cycle. And the same has happened here for the NY Racing Team in the 44 of Yaley. Meanwhile, at the front, they come to the line. It'll be 6 laps to go. Alex Bowman and Tyler Reddick side by side for the lead. Let's see if that second pack has closed in the gap a little bit. They're chipping away, but not enough if they want to be in the fight here at the end. 3 wide, though, for the race lead as the 97 of SVG drops it down to the bottom. That pack back there, they've gotten single file now amongst those 6. These guys continue to race side by side. They will get up into this picture. SVG, who nearly swiped the Clash away before running out of gas on the final lap. He leads this time by with 5 to go. Let's see the gap back to the second group. Gained 2/10. It's still not enough. It just feels like this lead group just has enough juice behind them. Now they're starting to get double wide back here. They just don't have that same energy that this lead pack does. So, barring something crazy, this is going to be the group to finish this one out. It's Shane Van Gisbergen. Out to the point, Chase Elliott, who gambled during the pit cycle and went down all by himself. He was the last car to pit to complete the cycle. He's back in the fight to try and win this thing. And yeah, that second pack did not gain much. That time by with 4 to go. SVG continues to lead. Elliott second, fighting Reddick for that spot. They're 3 wide for the 4th spot between Blaney, Bowman, and Hamlin. SVG not known, of course, for his overprowess. He's better known on the road courses, but he can put a lot of those notions to rest if he can come down and win this Duel number 2 and set himself up for great success in the 500. He leads with 3 to go, and the 45 of Tyler Reddick right on his doorstep. That second pack lost half a second. They won't be a factor officially. Here comes Reddick to the inside of the 97 of SVG with Elliott pushing. Ori Heim and B.J. McLeod hold the 2 transfer spots. As the 97 clears by the 45, Alex Bowman, will he think about going for second? Hamlin's now crept up into 4th. As they come down, it'll be 2 laps to go here in Duel number 2. SVG all out there on his own with the 45 being pushed by the 48 of Alex Bowman. We had a near last lap pass in Duel number 1 as that set the stage here for Duel 2 as the 48 and the 45 get side by side. They're going to go 3 wide for 3rd. The 48 doesn't have much momentum on that inside. The 45 is going to make a move down to the bottom as they come for the white flag. They're 3 wide for 4th, and the 45 of Tyler Reddick to the inside of SVG. Which line will Bowman decide to go with? Will he help a fellow Chevy, or will he try to make it 3 wide and go for the win himself? Here he comes, Alex Bowman to the inside. Push the 97 up and out of the groove. Ryan Blaney now into the mix here on the white flag lap. Bowman into the lead. Reddick, does he have any help? SVG driving back down to the bottom. Can he come back and try and get a run? As he gets to the inside of the 12, they're now 3 wide for second. That's all Alex Bowman wants to see. Out of 3 and 4 for the final time here in duel number 2. And the 48 Ally Chevrolet of Alex Bowman for Hendrick Motorsports will win duel number 2. Yet another last lap pass grants us a winner here in Daytona, here in duel number 2, and it goes to the 48 of Alex Bowman. Of course, who had a lot of questions coming into the season, whether he would remain with Hendrick after a couple just tough seasons in the 48 camp. But could this be the start for him that he needs to gain some momentum going into the 500? Heartbreak once again here in Daytona for Trackhouse and SVG. Leading, coming towards the white flag, and then the 45 moved him out. Ultimately brings it home third here in the duel. But man, what a duel number 2. We had a caution for once. And it took a couple cars out of this race that'll have to go to backups, but regardless of that, what an unbelievable run to the finish. And our 2 transfers will be the 67 of Corey Heim, who brings it home 12th in the race. BJ McLeod comes home 15th, 14 seconds ahead of JJ Yaley, who brings it down into his stall now. It'll be Heim and McLeod that qualify for the Daytona 500. JJ Yaley will just miss out, and Justin Allgaier will also not qualify as he is the lone car to finish 1 lap down. Waiting on the 12 to bring it back around before we can make this one official, as Blaney brings it down to the pits. He finishes second, just holding off SVG there at the line. So Blaney gets the signal, bring it down into his pits, and call this one good. We'll make it official on our end. And there you have it, your official finishing results. Alex Bowman brings it home as the winner. Ryan Blaney comes home second. SVG ends up third. Chase Elliott fourth. Gambled on the pit cycle and managed to hang on there. Denny Hamlin brings it home fifth. Reddick, who made the move on SVG, ends up finishing last of the lead group, ends up in sixth. Hocevar, our pole sitter, ends up seventh. Josh Berry brings it home eighth. Ricky Stenhouse ninth. And Zane Smith rounds out the top 10. And again, Corey Heim and BJ McLeod have raced their way in to the Daytona 500. Cole Custer able to finish the race. So good for him. He was able to do that. So they won't have to go to a backup despite the damage he incurred. But as for the 1, the 54, 51, and 35, they will go to backups for the 500 as they crashed in that lap 14 incident. And again, JJ Yaley, Justin Allgaier, oh so close, but they unfortunately are out of the running for the Daytona 500. So our field is set for the 500. We'll get that posted not only on Discord, but on our Facebook page as well. As our 2 duel winners, Brad Keselowski and Alex Bowman, take the duels. They'll be row number 2 for the Daytona 500, and the full field will be published here momentarily. For our entire team here at Mock Season Central in the NASCAR Mock Season, I'm Carlos Zimmerman. Thank you so much once again for tuning in to the duels today. We'll be bringing out a release date for the Daytona 500 of when we'll go live with that very, very soon. 100 laps here at the World Center of Racing to determine the first race winner in the NASCAR Mock Season here in 2026. Have a great rest of your first day of July. Tune in later tonight. We'll have some MLB Mock Season action on our YouTube channel here as well, so stay tuned for that. Coming up later on tonight in MSC Late Night and Overnights. Till then, enjoy what's left of your Wednesday, and as always, friends, stay safe. Have a pleasant tomorrow, And God bless. You've been watching another production of Mock Season Central here on the MSC Network.